Hello folks. Most of you that watch my videos probably are a little bit surprised seeing me in front of the camera for a change, and I have to admit I'm a little bit surprised myself. As I've said on previous videos, I've always been kind of a shy person and don't feel real comfortable in front of the camera. It took me long enough to get comfortable behind the camera on some of our rides, but I've had a couple comments asking me about, well, I've been talking about putting a suspension seat post on our Cloud9 seats for our electric bikes, and they've asked me to maybe do a video on changing the seat posts out. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've got the Cloud9. I went ahead and took the seat post out of the bike, and we'll be putting this Zoom suspension seat post on. Now, as I said before, whenever I looked these up on the internet, just about every description that I saw said that it went from about 110 pounds up to about 220 pounds. The description for this one said it had weight limits of 110 pounds up to 397 pounds. So I doubt that that's the case. I think this is the same Zoom seat post that was in all the descriptions, and I'd say that 397 pound limit probably was a marketing ploy, but we're going to see if it works. But before we see if this actually works for a guy my size, close to 300 pounds, I thought that I would go ahead and show how you put this on the seats. Now, I'm not professing to be a bicycle mechanic or anything like that, so take what I do with a grain of salt. I used to have a car dealership, and I did a lot of work on cars, and I wasn't, didn't know much about that until I did it. So I think that we'll all learn while I do this. So I went ahead and I got the wrenches that I'll need, and let me readjust the camera so that you can see what I'm doing just a little bit better. Okay, so here's the seat on the seat post. Now, the first thing we have to do is just get the seat post out of the bracket that comes on it. I believe this is a 14 millimeter nut, so I went ahead and got the 14 millimeter wrench, and we'll just loosen that up. And it's got a nut on both sides, so we'll loosen up both sides. Okay. Alright, so we got the now this is the step-through seat post, by the way. I'm going to put this on my wife's step-through because I know that the suspension seat post will work for a person her size with no problem. And if I find that it works for a person my size, then I'll probably go ahead and buy another Zoom post for myself. Alright, so take the nuts off of the bolt, pull these end pieces off that hold it, and let's see here. take all that off and we'll move it to the side. Alright, so what we're left with is we've got these the rack here. Now, the zoom here, you're going to have some Allen wrenches. This one takes, I think it's a number 5. Yeah, number 5 Allen wrench. So what we'll do is we'll put that on and we'll just loosen that up. And this will be a totally different bracket that we use to attach this to the seat than what our other seat post was using. Okay. And I would normally be out by our garage, but the garage is full of stuff and we've been having pop-up showers all over the place, and I thought it would be safer to set up here on my front porch just in case it rains, so we don't get soaking wet. Alright, so I'm going to back these nuts out, and I haven't done this before, so we are learning at about the same pace. Alright, now I do know that the side that has the bolts on it you want to put toward the back of the seat, like this. So we'll see if we can do this without taking it totally apart. Okay, there we go. And I have heard that some people had issues that the bracket on the zoom post was a little bit narrower than these rack bars, and they had to squeeze these together, but this seems to be pretty right on. So the other thing is you can also adjust this seat front to back just a little bit. The farther back you go, the closer to the handlebars you'll be. The farther forward you go on the seat, of course, the farther back the seat is, so the farther away from the handlebars. It'll also bring the pedals a little bit more to the front of your body. So once we get these things lined up, the grooves in this, we'll go ahead and we'll start tightening up the bolts again. Okay, so the other thing you want to do before you tighten these down totally is this is made to slide forward and back so you can adjust the angle of your seat. Let's see. Once we put it on the bike, we'll probably have to loosen these, and so we can tip the seat. So we can tip the seat forward and back to get a good fit. But for now, we'll just kind of leave it like it is. That actually looks like that'll be pretty good as far as the angle of the seat post. So what I'll do now is I'll just go back in and we'll just tighten these up all the way. Okay, that feels pretty good. So there we have it. That's about what it'll look like. We may have to go in and adjust the angle of the seat and bring the front down or the front up. You just unloosen the nuts, and then this mounting bracket that comes on the Zoom will kind of slide forward and back. So you'll be able to do that to adjust the angle of your seat. But for now, we'll just leave it like that. The other thing, these do have an adjustment for different weights. As you can see here, there's a little Phillips type screw in the bottom. Or I'm sorry, an Allen type nut. I'm not sure. Yeah, I need a bigger one. This is adjusted for the lighter weight. You'll get an Allen wrench you can put in here, and you can screw it up inside. That'll decompress the spring. That'll move. It's got some rubber bushings in here, some big thick ones. It'll slide those up and make it a little bit tighter for heavier folks. So let me, I think I left my other wrenches in the house. Hang on one second, I'll go get those and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And just like everything nowadays, pretty much everything is metric. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, so this is a 6 millimeter. So the 5 millimeter is what you tighten the seat up once you get the Zoom or the seat post put on, or the seat put on the Zoom. 5 millimeter in these two screws. This one down here is 6. So to tighten this up, you just stick this in here and start spinning. And if you can see it, it's kind of starting to go up in there a little bit. And the more you screw it in, the tighter this becomes, and it should handle heavier people. So I'm not sure how far this goes in. I think what I'm going to do is put it in about that much. If you can see, it was flat. I put it in about that much. So we will put this on the bike. I'll sit on it, test it out, and see if that's got some good shock absorbing to me. So hang on just one second. Let me get the bike, and we will put this in and give it a try. I'll be right back. So we've got my wife's bike, got the Zoom seat post. I'm gonna slide it, and it fits in there like a glove, as you can see. I'm not sure how high we'll need it, but now this thing seems slightly narrower than the other seats. All you have to do is spin this little nut right here, right beside it. Tighten it up as much as you can by hand, and then that'll make this tighter. Okay, now I've got this camera kind of hooked onto the back, and hopefully it'll stay like that. And we might be able to see how the seat post works for me. So hang on, everybody. Alright guys, I'm actually reshooting the ending right now. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about the Zoom seat. My first reaction was I was bottoming out, and the outro that I filmed just a little while ago, I pretty much let the host have it and say that it was trash for anybody 250 or 60 pounds and up. But I thought I was being a little hasty, so what I did was I decided to go back out and ride again and try it out again, just to be fair. I let my wife ride it. I didn't film hers. I knew hers would be fine. I had to let hers out almost as light as it would go. Not quite as light, but almost as light as it would go, so that she'd be comfortable. I also repositioned my camera and did a new shoot, because the first thing that I shot, I was getting a lot of the seat kind of covering up the actual suspension, so it was kind of hard to tell what it was doing. There's a little sticker on the back of the suspension area, and that bottom of that sticker is where you bottom out. And I did notice on this second go around that the bottom of the sticker was hitting, you know, the frame, so it was bottoming out, and it made it more comfortable just to ride and go over regular bumps on a regular road. The more I think about it, the more I think it will probably be okay for the types of roads and trails that I ride on. Anything more than what I generally ride on, it'll be trash. I went over some of the curbs here at the house, and the thing really slams you. But I have to say, even if it bottoms out, it's still better than not having that suspension seat post, if that makes sense. So, again, if you're just on a regular road, it gives me pretty good cush. It gives me decent cush, and it'll absorb some minor bumps. If I go through a pothole or hit any kind of a curb or go through grass that, you know, has any bumps or pits any more than about 1/4 of an inch or so, it bottoms out instantly. But again, there's still enough resistance there that I don't get the full brunt of the bounce, if that makes sense. And again, I'm you know, close to 300 pounds, so I knew it would be hard to find a suspension seat post that would work for somebody my size. Works great for Lisa. I backed it off several turns and let her ride it, and she was barely even pushing the thing down, going over bumps. We had to stop, and I had to release the tension 2 or 3 times until it was near the bottom. So it works fine for her. You know, we can keep adjusting. We're going to ride with it a little bit before I give you my final result on, you know, how we like it, how she likes it. I may even switch off and ride her some to kind of get a feel before I would go and buy a Zoom for myself. I think I'm going to keep looking and see if I can find anything else that's a little bit more heavy duty than what this one is. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. We had a girl peddling her political stuff here in our front yard. So she was trying to tell me about a new bill that was trying to be put in. I believe it was called For the People Act, which actually makes sense. But anyway, they're wanting people to call their state senators and try to get them to vote a certain way on it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, I think the seat post is good, definitely, for most people. And Brooke has a little deal on her back here. Can you grab that for me? Okay. Sorry about that. I'm getting interrupted by girls and bugs and everything else. So yeah, I'm still 50-50 on whether I would get the Zoom seat post for myself. It's going to work for Lisa. She's got plenty of adjustment either way. Whether she gains weight or loses weight, I'll be able to adjust that. And she's got plenty of give either way. For me, with it as tight as it can go, I think it gives me enough support on the regular trails that we ride to help out a little bit. If I hit a big bump, a curb, something like that, it bottoms out. But I guess overall, even for those, it gives me a little bit of extra support, whereas the regular seat post wouldn't. So given all of that, I'm not going to order it right away for myself. I'm going to keep looking and see if I can find something a little bit more hardy, a little bit more heavyweight. If I can't find anything that has a higher weight rating, I think I'd go ahead and use the Zoom seat post. That'd be definitely better than nothing. So for those of you that are interested in the Zoom seat post, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to it in my description, and I'll go ahead and put a link to all the stuff that I use, the Cloud9 seat, the mirror that I use on the bikes. I've got a video showing how to put that on. I think it was during my 100 mile review. And I'll also put a link for the helmets that Lisa and I and Brooke use whenever we go out riding to talk back and forth to one another. It's the same helmet that you can hear Lisa talking on the video with whenever we're apart. So those are quite nice. But I'll put links to those in the descriptions if you're interested in any of these items. Just to tie a bow on it, I like the seat for my wife and for anybody under 250 pounds. Anybody heavier than that, closer to 300, I would continue looking. If I can't find anything more heavy duty, I'll probably go ahead and order one for myself, because like I said, on regular trail roads, things of that nature, it does give you a little bit of sponge. I mean, I've got about a 1/4 inch of play whenever I sit on the thing, so any more bounce than that, it bottoms out, but at least it would give some support on most of the stuff that I ride on. So hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped people out there, big folks like me. But until next time, enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.